So today we're doing metric conversions, and you guys will see after you practice this, these are actually easier to do than all the other ones we've done this week. Everything's based on powers of 10. Everything's going to be multiplying and dividing numbers by 10, 100, 1,000, and so on. So when we do metric conversions, there are charts that they give you and tables you can look at, but it's really hard to apply those tables to all the different problems you're going to see. So I'm going to teach you guys how to draw a metric street. If you've already drawn it with me this morning or earlier, you're going to draw it again because I'm going to add something to it, okay? So the yellow poster on the wall with the lion on it says, King Hector doesn't like drinking chocolate milk. That's how I keep all the houses in order, okay? That little saying goes with metric conversions, and it helps me put together the houses. So I'm going to go ahead and do all the letters in order. King Hector doesn't like, I'm going to put meter and gram in the middle, drinking chocolate milk. This is metric street. These are all the houses on metric street. And this is going to be your roadmap for an easier time on this whole unit. If you can refer back to this drawing until you get the order of things down, these guys will tell you exactly what to do and which way to go. So I have to tell you all the names of the people in the houses. The first one, I'm going to flip it this way, is Kilo's house. Next we have Hecto. Then we have Deca. Then we have liter, meter, and gram. These guys are roomies in the middle. If you're doing a capacity problem, you're going to use liter, length, meter, weight or mass, gram. After that we have little deci, we have little centi, and tiniest of all, little milli. Aww. So this is metric street. On metric street, if you use your road map, the metric conversions are going to be a snap. Since we're multiplying and dividing by 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, so on, a lot of times kids get to this and you are 1 0 off. Unfortunately, 1 0 off makes it all wrong. There's no in between, so you need to make sure you have the right number of zeros. So when we look at abbreviations, and this is something I talked about with the first class quite a bit. You're going to see for kilo, you're going to see little k, little m for a kilometer, little k, big L for a kiloliter, little k, little g for a kilogram. I want you to write the abbreviations under it because I've found some people are having a hard time determining which house they belong to. So kilo, all of them start with a K. That one's pretty easy to figure out. For hecto, it's usually written little h, little m, little h, big L, little h, little g. Hectometer, hectoliter, hectogram. Deca is the weird one. And unfortunately, I have two guys here that start with the letter D, so they have to do something different with him. The way I write it and the way I've seen it the most is a capital D, little m, capital D, capital L, capital D, little g, deca, meter, decaliter, decagram. I have seen it also written D, A, G, and capital D, A, G, which you can imagine when I throw the L and the M, it makes for some fun. They usually just use a capital D. Everyone laughs every year when they see the other. Liter, meter, gram, big L, little m, little g. Decimeter, little d, little m. If it starts with a lowercase d, it belongs in the house of deci. Got it? Capital D or a DA, it's deca. Decaliter, decagram, or I'm sorry, deciliter, decigram. Then these are the ones you're the most comfortable using because you've seen them the most. Millimeter, milliliter, milligram. Honestly, in my life, I've seen kilometers used. I've seen millimeters and milliliters used and milligrams used. Centimeters, centiliter, centigrams used. And then the guys in the middle. These here, we don't really see on stuff a lot, okay? But you still have to be able to convert them back and forth. So every map has a key, right? Our key for this map is going to go here on the side. If we move over one house, we're going to multiply or divide by 10. One house, 1 0. Got it? If I move over 2 houses down the street, I'm going to multiply or divide by 100. 3 houses, what do you think, guys? 1,000. You're going to use these 3 the very most, but you'll see when I give you your practice sheet, probably the first or second one on the page is going from kilo to milli. If I went from kilo to Millie's house, I'm jumping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 houses. How many zeros do you think you're going to need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 houses would be 6 zeros. So 1 million millimeters is equal to a kilometer. Got it? It's just determining how many zeros you use. If we're going from kilo to millis, we're going to the right. Are we going small to big or big to small? So we're going to multiply all. If we're moving to the right down the street, we multiply. Okay? Big to small, we multiply. If we go from milli to kilo, we're going small to big. So we divide the pig. Good. So the direction you're going is going to determine whether or not you're dividing or multiplying. Okay? These abbreviations you have to figure out. Otherwise, you're not going to know which house to start at. So if I go from Liter's house to Centi's house, am I going to multiply or divide? How many houses do I jump? 2, so I multiply it times 100. Okay? You guys, some of you guys have already practiced this week. If I have 3 kiloliters and I want to change it to liters. If I go from kilo's house to liter's house, am I multiplying or dividing?
Multiplying.
Kilo's my big. I'm going big to small. So I multiply all. And I jump 3 houses, so I multiply times 1,000. I've got 3,000 liters. The thing that threw off some people earlier was this. What if you have 150 centimeters and I want to change them to meters? Who's my big? Centimeter or meter? Am I going small to big or big to small? I'm going small to big, so I divide the pig. How many hops between Centi's house and Meter's house? 2. 1, 2. So I'm dividing by 100. This is where everybody got stuck earlier. If you don't have zeros, you can cross out. This decimal is always there. So when we divided with decimals, what did we do with the decimal when we divided by 10, 100, or 1,000? Who remembers? There was something we did. We did bunny hops. How many bunny hops would I make for this one? 2. Hop, hop. I have 1 5/10. Get it, guys? Yes. Sometimes you're going to have to place a decimal. If I had 3 decimeters and I wanted to change it to meters, I'm going small to big. I'm dividing. I'm jumping 1 house. I'm dividing by 10. But you don't have any zeros to cross out on this. Sometimes you will and sometimes you won't. The decimal is always right there. You take off his invisibility cloak, and 1 0 means we do 1 bunny hop this way, and my answer is 3/10. Do you see how I did that?
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll be simple, like 4,000 millimeters to, let's say, decimeters. Who's my big? Millimeter or decimeter? Decimeter. Am I going small to big or big to small?
Small to big.
Small to big. I divide the pig. How many houses from milli to deci? 2 houses. What do I divide it by? 100. Now if I divide and I have zeros on both sides, do you remember what we do? I can get rid of the same number of zeros. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. 40 divided by 1 is 40, and I'm done.